Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Kelly and you're watching That Smells Divine. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I know it's been a pretty long time since I posted my last video. I do have a little bit of a life update for you before we move into the new releases that I want to share with you. I also want to give a trigger warning for you today. If topics of grief and loss are too much for you at this moment in time, I would recommend fast forwarding the video. You can use the timestamps down below to get to the actual fragrance content of this video. I am going to try my best to share with you my life updates without becoming too emotional on this video. I'd really like to remain neutral and just kind of share with you guys from as detached as a place as possible, which I feel like I'll be able to do because today I'm in a place of numbness and not so much emotion. So hopefully I can get through this and we can move on to the fragrances. So a week ago yesterday, my father passed away. October 10th, 2024. And obviously it's a very fresh loss. A week is nothing when you've just lost someone very important to you. So I don't want to talk about it too much. I just kind of want to share what's been going on for me and why I've been absent for the past, I don't even know when the last time I made a video was, maybe like 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I've been basically full-time sort of caring for my dad since July. He went on hospice at the beginning of July, I think it was, after just battling pulmonary fibrosis and congestive heart failure for the past couple of years. And yeah, it was really hard. My stepmother and I were kind of sharing the caretaking responsibilities, which unfortunately, this was not my first rodeo. I lost my mom in 2012 to colon cancer, and I was her primary caregiver for months. And then my stepmother, ironically, actually came to help me for the last 2 months of her life. So I'm no stranger to losing a parent. I'm no stranger to grief. I've lost more people in my life than I can count. And I'm no stranger to taking care of someone in their final months. And yeah, it was really challenging, obviously, and even more challenging because my father has had health issues his entire life. And we always joked and called him the bionic man because he always seemed to pull through everything. Like, he's actually died 3 times on the operating table. Hi, sweet Stewie. My dog is coming for comfort. And I just kind of thought he was also going to pull through this. Even when they put him on hospice, I was like, if anyone's going to come off hospice and have a miraculous recovery, it's going to be my father. And unfortunately, that was not the case. And so, yeah, I'm obviously reeling from this, right? Yeah, my father was my best friend in the whole entire world. I'm just taking it one day at a time. And if any of you who have gone through and on the grief journey before know, like, you're just like this, right? Like, you have one day where you're like totally falling apart and then the next day you're fine. And today felt like a fine day, of course, until I started talking about it. And I know it's only been a week. I know how fresh it is. And also I just really wanted to have some perfume therapy today. And those of you who also have channels, you know that the process of filming and editing and creating this content can be so therapeutic. Like, it literally can be like a form of meditation, at least for me anyway. And so, yeah, so I really just wanted to crank out some videos today and get back in the swing of things. I miss you guys. I miss my community. This fragrance community is like, it's been absolutely incredible. And I know a lot of you have been so supportive of me, not even knowing what was going on behind the scenes. And I was so hesitant to share that this whole time because I just didn't want to talk about it, you know, but now it's, yeah, I felt now was the time to talk about it. So with that being said, let's move on to our content for today. Before we even go there, let's talk about my scent of the day because I am like full blown obsessed with this fragrance that I am wearing currently. It's a decant from the House of Beau, and it's called Bonbon. and I'm absolutely in love. It's like a Lily of the Valley marshmallow creation, which ironically, I have never liked Lily of the Valley until like the past 2 months. This is the second fragrance, maybe the third, but the second that I can remember the name of it, where I am like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. It has Lily of the Valley in it, and I spray it and I'm like, oh. The first one, if you didn't see that video, was Heavenly Lilies by Sphinx. Oh my gosh, hands down favorite Sphinx fragrance. And then when I put on Bonbon, I again didn't have high expectations because of the Lily of the Valley, and it's just so good. Bonbon. I'm looking up the notes just to share with you guys because I know Lily of the Valley and Marshmallow. It's a very like, how do you say it? It's like a very clashy fragrance, but not in a bad way because it has, let's see. Oh yeah, it has lychee in it too. The lychee is pretty prominent. Lily of the Valley, it has saffron, which I get, but it's not like in your face. There's caramel, that was the other thing I was gonna say. Caramel, marshmallow, there's pink pepper and bergamot. And then there's cognac, birch, and ambergris. I'm normally not a birch girly, but it's really nice, you guys. This house is just beautifully done. They're very like artistically created. They're not like beast mode. They're very like soft and elegant. I got a decant of Casablanca last month or 2 months ago, and I liked it, but I didn't like it on me. I gave it to my stepmother. She's in love with it, and she wears it every day, and everyone like compliments her. Like people will just like come out of the woodwork to compliment her on that fragrance. It smells so good on her, but not on me. Not sure why, but anyways, House of Beau is definitely one to keep your eye on. Okay, so let's get into the content for today. So if you're new here, I do frequent new release videos where I like to share about new and upcoming releases. I'm really into new releases. It feels like Christmas morning every single day in the fragrance industry. And I know a lot of people don't like how frequently these new releases are coming out. I personally love it because I'm actually very picky about which fragrances I like. And I would say like 1 out of 25 to 30 fragrances is gonna be like a hit for me. It's gonna be full bottle worthy. There's a fly just like, and so I personally like all these new releases. As a content creator that focuses on new releases, yes, it's a little hard to keep up, and I am here for it. So what I gathered, so just to be transparent, usually I try to share as much with you as I possibly can. However, I have not filmed one of these videos in a long time, at least a month, maybe 2 months. And so I had like 300 fragrances on the list. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and talk about 300 fragrances because that would take like 2 hours. So I narrowed it down to 54. So we have 54 fragrances to talk about. What I did here is because this whole time I've been watching other YouTube videos because it's, again, been like my therapy. When my dad was sick and he would like finally fall asleep, I would just go on YouTube and watch fragrance videos, as I'm sure you guys would do too if you're in the same situation. And so a lot of the new releases have already been talked about. So my goal today is to share with you some of these new releases that I feel people are not talking about as much. There are a couple on here that people have been talking about. The only reason I'm bringing them up as well is because I'm like really excited about them. So you'll notice a couple, maybe like a handful or 2 of these fragrances you have probably heard about if you've been watching new release videos, but the rest might be new to you. As usual, I'm gonna go in alphabetical order. The first section will be fragrances that have not yet been released but have been talked about, in alphabetical order, and then we'll move to fragrances that are already out on the market for you to purchase and sample and decant and all the things. And again, those will also be in alphabetical order. So that's how we roll around these parts, and let's dive right in. Okay, so the very first fragrance I have to talk to you about today is gonna be something exciting for those of you that are BDK fans, and especially those of you that are Rouge smoking fans. I personally am not. I can appreciate the fragrance, but I'm not like in love with it. But I know a lot of people love Rouge smoking. So BDK, later this month in October, is going to be releasing a BDK Rouge smoking extrait. I don't have any more information or any notes on that, but that is something to look forward to if you are a Rouge smoking fan. Next up on the list, we have a new Billie Eilish release. It's called Your Turn. This is almost in the rumored section. I don't even know if this is like a legit release. However, I have seen quite a few people talking about it on the internet. So not that that means it's true, but it could be happening. I don't have any information on it, just Billie Eilish, your turn. That's it. Next, we have a new release from Guerlain, and this is called Pêche Mirage, and this is going to be a peach-centered fragrance, and we have incomplete / rumored notes here. So all the info we have on this is that it's going to be a peach, tea, and white musk fragrance. We also have our very first Kajal Lamar flanker. This is called Lamar Noir, and I don't have any notes on this, but I'm assuming this is going to be a darker, potentially more masculine, more mysterious take on Lamar, which if you're not familiar with Lamar is a pineapple-centric fragrance that kind of took the internet by storm a couple years ago. It's a very good fragrance, and so yeah, excited to see what this one is all about. Next, we have one that I'm really, really excited about. This is a collaboration between the House of Noir, which I still haven't smelled anything by them, and also a brand called Titolo, and this is called, so it's Noir, Polka E or X Titolo. I don't know, I'll put it down here. Why I'm excited about this fragrance, some of you guys might not know this about me because I don't really talk about this that much on this channel. But if there's one fragrance that I love smelling on myself, it's anything like apple pie. I love to smell like apple pie. It's just my favorite fall winter thing. Like I feel like $1 billion when I smell like apple pie. So anything in that category, I'm running to it as fast as I can. So with that being said, in this particular release, we have top notes of caramel popcorn, apple pie, and cinnamon, middle notes of roasted hazelnut, labdanum, and dried apricot. And then we also have base notes of vanilla, tonka bean, cedarwood, and musk. So this just sounds amazing. I can't wait for this one. Next, in a completely different direction, we have a new release coming up from the house of Regime de Fleur. This is called Fleur Eclair. And this one has top notes of cacao butter, cardamom, sugar, and rosewater, middle notes of cocoa, jasmine, sambac, and orange blossom, and base notes of patchouli, amber, and whitewoods. This sounds like a floral pastry, which sounds delicious to me personally. And then the last one on the upcoming releases list, we have a new one from the House of Rorana, and this is called Roasted Chestnut. And this one is gonna have notes of cinnamon, chestnut, vanilla, incense, amber, honey, clove, and ash. Incense and chestnut are totally up my alley, and of course anything vanilla, I'm here for it. This sounds really, really good. I'm very, very excited. Chestnut fragrances, there's something about them that just are so comforting to my soul, so I'm very, very excited for this one. Also, side note, apologies for the dogs in the background. They are playing, keeping things playful and joyous in the house, which I appreciate. Okay, so next we've got 47 new releases. And like I said, these are ones that I don't think you've heard about or heard as much about as some of the other new releases that everyone's talking about. There are some exceptions, like I said, and I will kind of give you a heads up when those are the exceptions. But the very first fragrance that I have written down here is from Aaron Terrence Hughes. And I just saw this morning that he released a bunch of new fragrances, or he is releasing a bunch of new fragrances. I did not write them all down. I only wrote down the one that I am the most excited about, and it's called Belle de Nuit. And the reason I'm so excited is because this has top notes of sweet orange and rose absolute. It has middle notes of raspberry, peach, nectarine, vanilla, and tonka bean, and then base notes of iris, ambergris, and sandalwood. So this just smells like a beautiful, like nectar-y, like slightly floral, kind of citrusy nectar, which just sounds so exquisite to me right now. It doesn't really seem like the best fall release, but yeah, it just sounds so beautiful and feminine and just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm very excited for that one. Next, we've got 3 new releases that I'm sure you guys have heard about. These are the 3 new releases from Amouage. This is their Essences collection. And what I've heard about this collection, it's a collection of 3. What I've heard is that they were aged in, was it whiskey barrels or rum barrels? They were aged in some type of barrel, maybe oak barrel. I can't remember exactly. I'll put it here once I look it up. And I've heard some feedback on these, and yeah, it's pretty positive, especially for one of them. So we've got the first one, which is called Luster by Amouage, obviously. And this one is going to have some cardamom, some orris, there's some cedarwood, sandalwood, patchouli. We've got benzoin, labdanum, styrax, amber rome, myrrh, tonka bean, cypriol, and vanilla. So this one sounds really delicious, kind of spicy, woody, but maybe a little bit creamy as well from the orris and the sandalwood. The next one is the one that's getting all the hype so far, and this is called Outlands. This is a Cecile, what's her last name? Kevorkian? Am I saying her name wrong? I'll put it down here. You know who I'm talking about. She, I'm pretty sure, is the one that did Ani as well from Nishane. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. I'll tell you here also if I'm wrong about that. But this one has, again, top notes of cardamom, bergamot, lemon, Sichuan pepper, elemi, and frankincense. There's middle notes of patchouli, rose, orange blossom, cumin, geranium, wormwood, saffron, anise, and coriander. And then base notes of benzoin, labdanum, amber, ambergris, frankincense, opopanax, maltol, vanilla, birch, musks, and oud. That's a lot of notes. What I've been hearing about this so far is that if you're a fan of like anise and wormwood, those kind of almost like medicinal kind of notes, that this is going to be a hit. So I'm very excited to check this one out. And then the third and final is called Reasons. And this, again, is a cardamom fragrance. So it looks like all of these are kind of centered around cardamom. It also has cinnamon, hazelnut, davana, patchouli, pine, cypriol, cashmerean, white amber. There's some benzoin, cistus, cedarwood, myrrh, palo santo, oak moss, sandalwood, vetiver, and white musk. Lots going on in that one as well. I'm a huge fan of hazelnut and Palo Santo. So for me personally, this is the one that I'm the most excited to give a shot, give it a try. Okay, next we have a new release from my all-time favorite house. Let me know in the comments if you know what house it is. If you've been watching any of my videos for the past forever, you should know it's Arquiste, my favorite house of all time. And they've released 3 fragrances, actually 4 in the year 2024. And I've only smelled one of them. I've only gotten my nose on a Grove by the Sea, which I'm like super surprised that no one is talking about. If you guys have smelled that fragrance, you know it is an absolute masterpiece. No one is talking about it except for me. I'm literally the only person, and I watch a lot of people. I don't watch everyone, but I watch a lot of people, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it. You guys need to like run out and try that fragrance. It is so beautiful. So the other new releases were, there's one collaboration that I'm totally blanking on. It was a collaboration with Matthew Zink, I think is the name, and I'll put that here. And then there was Venice Rococo, which I still haven't smelled that one. That's gonna be like kind of a powdery, like Renaissance style feminine fragrance. And then this one, the one that I'm the most excited about, is called Almond Suede. And again, this released maybe like a month ago. Maybe a couple weeks ago. And again, I'm not hearing anyone talking about it. So like, I don't know what the deal is, but this one, we've got bitter almond, honeycomb, bergamot, and pink pepper. We have middle notes of concrete, saffron, neroli, orange blossom, and labdanum, and base notes of vanilla absolute, pine tar, suede, and sugar. And I am just so excited to try this. I'm so excited. So I'll definitely be getting that in a future sample haul, and I'll definitely be sharing that with you guys as well. Next, we have 2 new releases from the House of Atelier des Ors, and they're like fresh off the Blue Madeleine and the other one that released with Blue Madeleine. They're fresh off that train, like that hasn't just barely died down, because I think they released that maybe 3 months ago. Now they've got 2 new ones. They've got Coco Camilla, and that one is cardamom, coffee, cocoa, patchouli, and vanilla. That sounds so good. And then the other one is called Kawa Carta. So this is also gonna be coffee. This one has cardamom and vetiver with it as well. So very intrigued by these fragrances. I still haven't even gotten my hands on Blue Madeleine, which is on my wish list. So yeah, very excited to give those a shot. Next, we have 3 new releases from the House of Atelier Materi. And the first one is called Ombre Papier. Ombre Papier. This one has top notes of black pepper, pimento, and red mandarin, middle notes of jasmine absolute, myrrh, mate, and saffron, and base notes of benzoin, vetiver, and tonka bean absolute. That sounds really delicious. The next is called Burgundy Oud. This one has notes of black currant bud absolute, cardamom, bergamot, geranium, magnolia, and davana, and then oud, amorous, and leather in the base. That also sounds good. And then the one I'm most excited about is the neroli hasbaya. This one has neroli, bitter almond, pistachio, orange blossom absolute, damask rose absolute, Peru balsam, white sandalwood, and musk. My brain goes to like nougat. Is that how you say it? Nougat? Nougat? You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, this sounds edible to me in like a really delicious like pastry kind of way. All right, next we have 5 new releases from a designer house called Bottega Veneta. And Bottega Veneta, like their original EDP, is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. I'm going to talk about this also in a video this week, I think, or next week. So yeah, love Bottega Veneta. And these 5 are all being released. It looks like they're kind of a collection. So the first one is called Acqua Sale. And this one has top notes of juniper, black pepper, and mandarin, middle notes of sea salt, orris, osmanthus absolute, and galbanum, and then base notes of vetiver, labdanum absolute, and musk. The next one is called Alchemy, and this one has top notes of pink pepper, mandarin, and nutmeg, middle notes of myrrh, leather, and labdanum absolute, and base notes of vetiver and sandalwood. That one sounds slightly masculine to me. The next we have Colpo di Sole. And this one has top notes of bergamot and angelica, middle notes of orange blossom absolute, osmanthus absolute, and ambrette, and base notes of bourbon, vanilla, vetiver, and musk. And then next we have random like English name for this one. This is called Come With Me. And listen to these notes, you guys. This is like top notes of artichoke, bergamot, and carrot seed, middle notes of orris, jasmine absolute, and cabruva, and base notes of vetiver, bourbon, vanilla, and leather skin. I don't know about y'all, but I have yet to see the note of artichoke in perfume, and I'm very curious about that. And the final fragrance in this collection is called Déjà Minuit, and this one has top notes of winter lemon, cardamom, and cinnamon, middle notes of jasmine absolute, orange blossom absolute, and geranium, and base notes of patchouli, bourbon, vanilla, and vetiver. So I'm very intrigued by this collection. The next on the list is a new fragrance from the House of Boy Smells, and this is Banana Pudding. And this sounds absolutely delicious to me. So we've got top notes of bergamot, cocoa, and cardamom, middle notes of jasmine, banana, and violet, and base notes of sandalwood, cedarwood, vanilla cream, and patchouli. And I believe this comes in a candle form as well. I actually couldn't even find a full size of this fragrance. I only found like a 10 ml. So I don't know if it's like a limited edition or just like maybe the candle came first. I'm not actually sure. I just saw it like in passing. So I'm very excited about that. Next, we have a new fragrance from Dame Perfumery. This is called Strawberry Fool. And although I am picky about strawberry fragrances, I feel really drawn to them. So for this one, we have Lily of the Valley. We've got strawberry, orange, jasmine, rose, musk, and plum. So I'm very excited for that. Next, we have 2 new releases from Dolce & Gabbana. The first one is called Velvet Infusion. This one has top notes of Italian mandarin, bergamot, and pink pepper, a middle note of black tea, and base notes of cedarwood and mate. That sounds really good to me because of the black tea with like the citrus notes. Okay, and the second one is called Velvet Zafferano, and this one has notes of saffron, tobacco, patchouli, vanilla, and amber. Okay, next we have a new release from a house that I have 0 experience with. This is the House of Elysian. I think they're like more indie than niche. I could be wrong about that, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is called Temple of Echoes. And first of all, I just love the name. The name is so cool. And also the notes look really good in this as well. So this has top notes of neroli and cardamom, middle notes of coconut milk, saffron, ginger, black pepper, vanilla, and cashmerean, and base notes of sandalwood, amber, oud, and musk. It sounds delicious. Next, we have a new release from Estee Lauder, and this is called Serene Sierra. And I normally don't go for Estee Lauder fragrances. However, this is a pistachio fragrance, and I love pistachio. So we've got pistachio, honey, and mimosa. I'm sure there's more notes, but that's all that we have right now. So very excited for that. Next is a new release from the House of Famoa Paris. This is called Red Keela Split, and this one has a top note of lemon, middle notes of strawberry, banana, orange blossom, and sorbet, and base notes of pistachio, whipped cream, caramel, vanilla, tonka bean, sandalwood, and ambroxan. That sounds like a snack. Very excited for that one. Next, this is one that you may have heard of already. This is by the House of Gallivant, and this is their Buenos Aires fragrance, which I'm very excited about. It's got a grape note in it, which I'm not sure about, but grape, citrus notes, petitgrain, sabo flower, which I think is like the main focus of the fragrance. And I read about this a little bit. I believe it's a native flower to Argentina, but I don't know anything else about it. Also yerba mate, tonka bean, dulce de leche, and leather. So very excited. I've never been to Argentina. I've always felt slightly drawn. So excited to check this fragrance out. Next, we have a fragrance by the House of Gawali, and this is called Tea House Memoirs. And this, I'm a sucker for tea fragrance, so that's why I included it on this list. It has a top note of black tea, middle notes of muguet, rose, and violet, and base notes of sandalwood, vanilla, leather, and musk. So excited to check that out. The next two are fragrances that I know you've heard about already, because I don't know what happened, if like PR went out or whatever, but like everyone's talking about them and they're getting really good reviews. So I'm very excited about the first two Glossier You Flankers. If you haven't heard yet, listen up because I'll tell you about them. So the first one is called You Do, Do. I'll put it down here. This one has sweet violet, Palo Santo, frankincense, myrrh, ambrette, and ambroxan. So that sounds really delicious. And then the other one is called You Rev, and this one has buttercream, plum butter, toasted almond, iris, sandalwood, ambrette, and ambroxan. So those sound really delicious. I can't wait to get my nose on those. Next, we have 3 new releases from the House of Ubigant, I believe is how you say it. The first one is called Ombre Rubus. We've got top notes of orange, pink pepper, and frankincense, middle notes of cherry, rum, and jasmine, and base notes of ambergris, fir balsam, cedarwood, and woody notes. That sounds delicious. And then the second one is called Rose du Desert, and this one has top notes of lemon blossom, yuzu, and bergamot, middle notes of Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose, violet, iris, and vanilla, and base notes of ambergris, cedarwood, patchouli, and musk. That also sounds delicious. And then Vanilla Imperial, or Vanille Imperial, sorry. This one has top notes of bergamot, blood orange, and neroli, middle notes of rose, jasmine, tuberose, and vanilla, and base notes of ambrette, ambergris, and musk. So those 3 sound great. The next one is one that I am absolutely shocked that no one is talking about. Like, I literally don't understand what's going on, because I feel like usually every time this niche / used to be indie house, every time they release something, the internet generally talks about it. Like, people go crazy and talk about it. And I don't know why no one has been. It's very bizarre. So it's by the House of Imaginary Authors, and it's called Untamable. And I'm very drawn to this fragrance because it's literally supposed to be about Texas Hill Country, which is like where my heart lives. I live in Austin, if you don't know. And Hill Country is like 30 minutes that way. It's where I've always wanted to live. When I buy my first property, it'll definitely be in Hill Country. I'm obsessed. Like, it's gorgeous. If you've never been here, we have the most beautiful sunsets. It's like rolling green, luscious hills. It's literally like Narnia. There's these beautiful swimming holes everywhere and vineyards, and the people are just like the kindest, most heart-centered people. Like, it's just, I just love it so much. So I'm really excited about this fragrance because Imaginary Authors is like one of my favorite houses. Plus, it's centered around Texas Hill Country and the story about like a I can't remember, you'd have to go onto their website and read it, but it's about like a cowboy and like a diner worker. I can't remember, but anyway, it's very like Texas. So no one's talking about it though, and I don't know why. So let's talk about the notes. We've got leather saddle, tonka resin, saguaro blossom, which saguaro is like a cactus that grows in Texas and also Mexico, I think. We've got Texas yellow star, we've got cumin, tumbleweed, and paso fino. So it sounds like it's gonna be kind of like a dusty desert-like fragrance. What comes to mind is, I don't know if anyone's ever smelled El Cosmico from Diaz and Durga. I actually got to go, they had like a launch party here in 2000, when was it? 2006 2016 or 2017, whatever year El Cosmico came out. They had a launch party at one of my favorite bars off of South Congress. I used to live right behind the Continental Club off South Congress. And there's a hotel bar. I'm totally blanking. Hotel San Jose. They have like a cute little outside bar with like a pool. I'll put a picture up here. I used to hang out there all the time. That was like my stomping grounds. I'm having nostalgic flashbacks of 2015, 2016. Anyways, we went to the launch party for El Cosmico and it was super fun. The fragrance is very niche, very like dusty, very artistic, not something that like, if you're into like designer fragrances, like if Mon Guerlain Intense is your favorite fragrance, you would probably hate El Cosmico. If that was just like your one style of fragrance that you enjoyed. So in my head, I think that Untamable is going to be similar to that, but it could be completely opposite. I don't know. But anyways, why isn't anyone talking about this? Has anyone gotten their nose on this? Please let me know in the comments if you smelled it, what your thoughts are. I'm going to order a sample, but just, genuinely curious. Okay, next we have a new release from the House of Jo Loves. This is Black Cashmere and Tonka. And for this one, all we have for notes are ginger, tonka bean, and cashmere. But to me, this sounds like a very warm, kind of cozy fall fragrance. So yeah, excited to check that one out. Next, we have a new fragrance from the House of Jusette. This is called Ciao Bello Pistachio, again with the pistachio fragrance. So this one has gourmand notes, pistachio cream, waffle batter, and brioche. And unfortunately, my track record with Jusette is that I get super excited about their fragrances because I think I'm gonna love them. And then when I smell them, they're like way too over the top gourmand for me. So I don't know, this one might be different because it does have that pistachio note. I don't know, I tend to like love pistachio fragrances even if they're super gourmand. For those of you guys that love this house and that love like the overly gourmand fragrances, this will probably be a hit. Next, we have two new releases from the House of Lise. The first one is called Choo Choo. And this one sounds really good. Again, slightly gourmand. We've got top notes of citrus peel and fresh cream, middle notes of vanilla bean and fleur de sel caramel, and then base notes of sandalwood, cocoa, and mocha. My stomach is literally growling talking about these gourmand fragrances. That one sounds really good to me. And then the next one also sounds good. I'm more excited about Choo Choo, but the next one is called Of True Minds. I believe that this one was released first before Choo Choo. I think this one was released a couple months ago, and I believe that Choo Choo is a brand new release. I could be wrong about that, but Of True Minds has patchouli, amaretto, labdanum, benzoin, nutmeg, suede, and orris. So that sounds really good. Next, we have a new release from Maison Violet. This is called Pour Rêver. I still haven't smelled anything from this house, even though people rave about it. Anyone who has sampled the house raves about it. For top notes here, we've got marron glacé, mate, and hazelnut. We've got middle notes of iris, rum, cacao, and myrrh. And then base notes of incense, patchouli, gaiac wood, and vanilla. I am a sucker for gaiac wood, vanilla, patchouli, myrrh, rum, hazelnut, pretty much every single note in this fragrance. So I am definitely really excited to try this. Next, we have a new release from the House of Olfatology. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Olfatology. It's Magnetic Mango. And this one, again, timing on the release, although I'm very aware that like not the entire world is moving into fall and winter right now, like cold weather. For me, this doesn't feel season appropriate yet. Maybe I'll look at this, in February next year. Although saying that, I'm like, I live in Austin, Texas. I can wear summer fragrances pretty much like 350 days out of the year, to be honest. You know what I mean? So anyways, this is Magnetic Mango. We've got top notes of peach blossom, salt crystals, and lemon leaves. Middle notes of mango, tuberose, passion flower, and jasmine. And base notes of sandalwood, musk, and cedarwood. I love jasmine and I love passion flower. So I'm very excited about this when I do get my hands on it. Next, we have a new Raja. I'm not sure if people have been talking about this one. I think I may have heard someone talk about it once or twice, but this is called Lost in Paris. I just love the name. I'm a huge Paris fan, if you didn't know. So the name kind of caught my attention, but then also the notes sound delicious as well. So we've got top notes of blood orange, bitter orange, mandarin, rum, and Grand Marnier. We have middle notes of caramelized sugar, butter, and caramel, and base notes of pink pepper, cinnamon, clove, cedarwood, cashmere wood, vanilla, ambergris, and musk. Sounds really delicious. Next, we have a new fragrance from Sphinx. You guys have probably all heard this already. Sphinx really caught my attention with the Discovery Kit video that I did. That was maybe like 2 months ago at this point. I was super impressed with the fragrances, and this is their new release. It's called Egyptian Sugar Soiree. So I'm definitely excited to try this one out. This one has top notes of milk, cream, and coconut milk, middle notes of sweet notes, vanilla and coconut, and base notes of white musk, benzoin, and tonka bean. This sounds very commodity milk-ish to me, which that is one of my all-time favorite gourmand fragrances. I love commodity milk so much. It does something to my soul. And yeah, I feel like this is kind of going to be like the Sphinx take on that. So I'm very, very excited to try that. Next, we have a new release from the House of Tower perfumes, and this is called Harrod, not sure pronunciation. We've got top notes of bitter cocoa and bergamot, middle notes of fruity milky cocoa, dried dates and white florals, and base notes of timberwood, cedarwood, vanilla, musk, and ambergris. I don't know about you guys, I'm definitely noticing like a cacao theme with all of these new releases, with most of these new releases, so that's exciting. That's my chair, by the way, not me. Next, we have a new release from the House of Tamine. This is called Center Stage, and I think I've heard maybe 1 or 2 people talking about this one. This has notes of petitgrain, cardamom, lavender, orange blossom, orris, jasmine, styrax, animalic notes, and amber woods. And this is supposed to capture the provocative world of 1920s cabaret clubs, where the arrogance of high society decadence meets unabashed sensuality. Very interesting. So yeah, curious about that one. Next, we have a new fragrance, new release from Tom Ford. And I haven't really heard people talking about this. I wonder if this is like an exclusive to somewhere. I'm not sure. I did not see it at Sephora when I was there last week, so I'm not sure what the deal is with this, but it's called Amber Intrigue, and it's got dates, frankincense, vetiver, sandalwood, labdanum, and amber. Let me know in the comments, have you seen this anywhere? Have you smelled it? Have you heard anyone talk about it? Yeah, I'm super curious about this one as well. And then to wrap up our list today, we have 6 new releases from Zara, which I said for a while that I was going to stop sharing about Zara releases, but these caught my eye for sure. So there's so many Zara releases coming out on what seems to be a weekly basis that, yeah, I'm just only going to share the ones that like I'm super excited to try. The first one is called Hypnotic Vanilla Cloud, and it looks like this is just a straight up like marshmallow milk, is it? Sorry, marshmallow and musk. So that sounded really interesting to me. And then the remaining 5 are in a shades collection. So the first one is called Shades of Bliss, and this one has kumquat, narcissus, gardenia, cocoa, and patchouli. The next one is called Shades of Joy, and this one sounds really good to me. This has pink pepper, peony, rose, and vanilla. I love peony in fragrances, especially combined with rose. It's just, I went like this, but I meant chef's kiss. Little humor for you. And then the third one is called Shades of Lust. This one is white peach, orange blossom, and white musk. Shades of Nirvana is ginger, eucalyptus, jasmine, sandalwood, and musk. That's my second one that I'm most excited about. And then Shades of Nostalgia is the final one. And this one has a note of kiwi, which is really interesting. Kiwi, magnolia, and cedarwood. So let me know in the comments. I know a lot of you guys love the Zara fragrances. Let me know, have you tried any of these? What are your thoughts? Please let me know about any of the fragrances I shared today, what you're super excited about. And also if there's other new releases that I didn't talk about today that you're currently loving, please let us know in the comments so we can be influenced by you and potentially buy some things because of your recommendations. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me for the beginning of this video if you did choose to watch it. And I'm excited to get back into the swing of things with my content. I have a couple videos coming out for you guys this week that are really exciting. And also I've got some new content coming out on my Instagram and my TikTok. So if you're not yet following me on either one of those platforms, the links for those are in the description down below. So feel free to check those out if you'd like. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.